Act. Now, SASCOC says it cannot prescribe to federations, sport federations, when to resume sporting activities. The South African Sports Confederation and Olympic Committee says it disassociates itself from certain media reports suggesting that SASCOC has cast doubt over the possibility of any team sports resuming in the near future in the wake of COVID-19. For more on this, we are joined on the line by Acting SASCOC President and Executive Member of the South African Sports Confederation Olympic Committee, Mr. Aleck Skhosana. Babu Skhosana, thank you very much indeed for joining us on SABC News Channel. Speak to us about the press release that you've just released. Why and how did this come about that people thought that you are cutting everything off with immediate effect?
No, thank you very much, Tabi. So on Friday, there was an article in the Citizen newspaper citing that SASCOC has had a view on the resumption of the sporting, mainly team sport. And we said we did not know where does this actually come from, and we felt that we should correct the misrepresentation of SASCOC in that story, as we state that the protocols, SASCOC believes that the protocol of resumption is the responsibility of each and every federation or sports industry, whether it's public or private or professional or amateur. That is their responsibility to determine when they are going to return to activity and on what basis. And we say we cannot prescribe to federations when they should risk, just like we did not prescribe to them when they suspended or stopped their activities. But we believe that the best way we can say is that each professional or amateur sport federation must look at the safety protocols that will protect the health of their athletes, coaches, administration that are involved.
Yeah.
So when they are happy, the health department is happy and the whole government is happy with the protocols they present, then SASCOC will also be happy. We are not a jack of all trades, as we have said. We know that each and every sport federation under our arm, there are almost 86 of them, they have got different ways of doing things, and they affiliate to international bodies, and they have provided protocols, and they must work in the country with the health authorities and the sports department and the government in its entirety in ensuring the safety of the people. So we're distancing ourselves from that.
That is the question, Babu Skhosana, I was just about to ask you. And as far as we stand, South Africa is at a lockdown, at a state of disaster. Therefore, all sporting activity has been, put to a halt, as we've seen. Just recently, we cancelled the Comrades Marathon for the year 2020. And as far as any regular sport coming back to activities, what is the standpoint of South African Sports Confederation Olympic Committee? We know that, for example, in Germany, they've just returned football, which started over the weekend, and already Germany, certain parts of that country are back to lockdown after easing regulations of lockdown. Where do you stand as SASCOC and as far as looking ahead to returning to any form of sport, be it behind closed doors?
Well, with what you have just cited right now in Germany, the best institution that can talk about football is SAFA and its stakeholders. They know better, they are passionate, they are experts, they can even consult with the German Football Federation or Bundesliga and what have you. But for us as SASCOC, we cannot go to that level. If SASCOC has to be involved in this, they will only be involved through invitation from those people who will want our expertise, especially of our medical professionals that we assemble for this and that, who can be able to advise wherever they are required to advise. In simple terms, our stand is that any sport-specific protocols regarding resumption, we leave it to a sport-specific body, whether professional or amateur, to look at it. And our stand is that the health and safety of our athletes, of our coaches, administrators, and those who work in that environment must be prioritized before anything else.
Dr. Patrick Zondi, who is SASCOC medical chairperson, is also, I'm sure, is deep in it in as far as sports federations or any people wanting to get back to actually normal activity. What is Dr. Patrick's take so far in as far as resumption of any sporting code. We do know that golf, for example, have asked the sports ministry to get back to playing, although at a leisure level, not professional level, just leisurely playing on the weekends. Where do we stand as SASCOC as far as easing some sort of, if I can say, representation for federations to the sports ministry and let people get back to sporting activities?
Well, our stand does not change. It does not vacillate. It remains as I've articulated it, that each and every individual sport, whether professional or amateur, they have got the authority and the right to assess the environment in terms of health and safety, and they can talk to government whenever they feel like and present their plans that they are ready to do so. Golf, I think, did that. Whether they have been allowed or not, I'm not so sure at this point in time. But that is their prerogative and their right, and that is the right of the government to say yes or no. Remember, Sascoc did not pronounce or develop all the laws of lockdown. It is the government of the Republic, and we have to abide by the rules and regulations, and each and every sport is allowed to prepare its plans and submit to government and say, we can be able to resume because we have done 1, 2, 3, 4.
Bob Aleck Skhosana, Executive Member of SASCOC, South Africa Sports Confederation Olympic Committee, as well as Acting President at SASCOC. Thank you indeed for joining us on the line. Just clarity there that SASCOC saying they've got no jurisdiction in stopping any federation or sporting federation if they wanted to go back to playing the sport, as long as that they adhere to government's call to, the stance on social distancing and safety lockdown measures, as well as being in the stage of disaster. Thank you very much, Aleck Skhosana. We'll take a quick break.